All right, so we have a couple of members who we've been talking with, and I know we had some technological trouble getting them on the show once before, and with RPM, and now RPM is slowly starting to realize who these guests might be, if he hasn't already figured it out. And so I was making arrangements to get on the one member whose audio was cutting out on him, and instead I ended up getting a twofer on this one. So I'm going to see about getting them on the line here in just a moment. And hopefully we got this all set up. Get my notes out. And it sounds like they're ready. I got one of them to say yay, and the other one is slouched over on his keyboard. Oh, he's coming in. Okay, good. So, might end up with a little bit of a delay. Trying to call the group, see if we get some folks to answer the phone.
Hello.
Hello, hello. We got one answering the phone.
Hey, Briguy.
And I think we got a twofer. All right, awesome.
Okay, feedback.
So, just like
hey,
with any call-in radio show, we'll ask you to turn down your radio because it comes back over the phone.
Yes.
Done so already.
Okay, that's all right.
Where the hell is he?
Yeah, he'll figure that out in a second, won't he? Okay.
Okay.
Very good. Okay. So, I don't know the distance here, but I did happen to get a little bit of a map that maybe I can show on the screen briefly without messing up the futures chart, just to give our listeners an idea of where we're calling to. And that is to Bergen, Norway, I believe is the right place.
Can you
is
see
that?
Can you see that? Really? That's exactly correct. If you zoom in, can you see you in my house? My office?
I know you gave me the GPS coordinates earlier, so...
yeah, didn't I?
I didn't actually plug it in, but I'm sure you're somewhere in there.
Yep. No, a little bit north.
A little bit north.
See the B? It's a B, right?
Yeah.
Okay, zoom in.
All right, we're not going to get that exact. Just giving everyone an idea.
Oh, you can see where I point.
It'll be a delay anyway.
Yeah.
So what we have today is members here on DayTradingRadio.com, and that includes I'm Short Your House and Dutch Windmill. So I don't know if you guys see in the chat room, but we have a couple of hellos coming in for you guys. And
Happy Eastern.
Yeah, happy Passover.
That too. Very good. So you guys have been active in the chat room here and there. I know Dutch Windmill quite a bit. I'm sure your house has trouble with the multitasking. So as much as he'd like to be typing in the room all the time, he's busy making money, and that's fine too. We don't mind that at all. But we'd like to get a perspective from you guys, since you're coming from, and I don't know about your situation, Dutch Windmill. I know I'm Short Your House was born in the East Coast of the States, right?
Yeah, I moved there when I was a kid.
Right. So when you were a kid, you moved to Norway, and I know you traveled back and forth.
Yeah.
So can we call you a New Yorker?
I was born there, so.
A native New Yorker, anyway, right? As the song goes.
Yeah.
Okay. And how about you, Dutch Windmill? Your days have been spent.
I'm a native Dutchman. I was born and raised in Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam.
Yeah.
How is that growing up for a little kid?
That depends on the neighborhood. But it's all right. It's definitely a very nice city.
Okay. I mean, it's a big enough city to have its different sections, right?
Yeah, and it's a great city. You know, it's relatively more liberal than other cities around the world. So that's always fun when you grow up.
You can say that.
And
they have a nice district. I know.
Yeah. So, but I got kids now. But I moved out of Amsterdam more to a rural area.
Okay.
You get kids.
But that will change soon, because I'll be moving abroad in about a couple of months. I'm moving to the UK.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny you refer to moving to the UK as going abroad. It doesn't seem that far away from where you are, relatively.
It's only 45 minutes flight. So yeah, it's all very close here in Europe.
Yeah, I mean that's like us going from New York to Boston.
Exactly. If
many Americans think that Europe is one country.
It's not one country?
Yeah.
Well, they have the Eurozone.
Hey, I see a buddy from the Berkshires. I got family in the US. They own a bed and breakfast over there in the Berkshires in Great Barrington.
Okay.
I think Buddy must know Great Barrington then. I've lived in New York as well in 1996.
Okay. So you know, so you've seen the horrible snowy winters we have here in the United States compared to the sunny Bergen, I'm sure.
Yeah, the first time I went to the US was in 1983 with my grandpa. Visited my family in New York, and they lived on Long Island back then. And I literally froze my fingers were frozen because my gloves were not really up to the job. It was really horribly cold that winter.
Yeah, Long Island can get very, very windy with the with the cold, and so we got some folks saying hi in the room. So so let's talk a little bit about some trading now. You guys have some kind of an arrangement between the two of you. You kind of trade together. You're trading colleagues, or what kinds of things do you guys trade, or are you focused on anything in particular?
You want to answer that one?
Yeah, sure. That of course you got let's say the longer swing trades, but I also tend to get more aggressive, more scalping kind of trades intraday. I trade for a living, so you need to step up the pace a little now and then.
Right.
And basically I got some longer positions, and I work in between as well. So it was a pretty busy week with all the volatility caused by Mr. Dijsselbloem.
What the hell? How did that happen?
All right, working on the feedback issue.
Yeah. Somehow,
All right, you'll figure that out. So, are you guys trading any other markets besides the U.S. market?
Sometimes the European market, I guess.
Okay, I'm sure at your house, I think we agreed that Dutch Windmill was going to represent the group.
Okay.
I'm just teasing.
Sorry, it's in my nature to interrupt.
No, that's fine. Just raise your hand next time.
We trade European markets as well.
The European markets, you said?
Yeah, but I tend to trade them less frequently as I did in the past because, if you look at volumes and like banter and stories and things going on, U.S. market is much better, much more transparent, and it's much easier volume wise. Also, to there's much more liquidity. There's a lot of
get in and out.
Stocks in. Yeah, and in Europe, some of the what was called blue chip stocks have lost a lot of momentum in the past years, and especially now with the crisis going on, you definitely see the markets are, less efficient as that they were like 3, 4, 5 years ago. We'll get back, but it's just a cycle. But right now, the U.S. market for trading, I think, is much more attractive than the European market.
So, I'm sure at your house, would you feel that you should just ignore the European markets and just trade the U.S., or is there anything news-wise that you'd like to keep your eye on?
Well, I keep my eye on basically derivatives in Norway. There goes my accent cracking up again.
That's all right.
Yeah.
So what types
Basically,
of derivatives?
like credit default swaps for mortgage-backed securities. In Norway, as you may know from our conversations, there is quite an housing bubble in Norway.
Mm-hmm.
That is driven by an underlying asset bubble.
Okay. So that gets into the CDOs that you do?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And just for practical explanations, is that trading on a Norway exchange, or is that through a certain broker house, or how does it work if somebody is trading credit default swaps, let's say?
Well, it's what we call OTC, over the counter. So it's not trading in any exchange.
Okay. So you're directly in contact with somebody.
You buy it from the counterparty directly.
I'm sure there's always a middleman getting his percentage, right?
Yeah, of course. Well, it works out like that.
All right.
Most of the time, not always.
Now, how did you?
That depends.
Okay. How did you get into trading in this type of derivatives and whatnot? How did you end up gravitating towards that?
You really want to know?
If you'd like to share.
Yeah. Okay. I started at business school when basically I was when I was a kid. I'm a kid now, but when I was more of a kid. And I basically dropped out in 2001 when 9/11 hit.
Mm-hmm.
A little background before this. I have come from this wealthy family. So basically, all my life, I always rebelled against, money, cash, etc.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, 9/11 propelled me into the army, the Norwegian army. Then we eventually got deployed to Afghanistan. I didn't. That's not important anyway. But that was 2 tours, and 2 tours in Norwegian. In Norwegian army.
Okay.
That's like 6 months. In the US, it's 12 months. So
okay,
it's like one deployment.
Right. So after those tours, you got back home.
Yeah.
And you were trying to figure out a career, I guess.
Yep. And I figured, why don't I finish my education?
Okay.
And I actually did it on the internet.
Okay.
That worked out. Because in Norway, everyone has broadband. It's like super fast internet everywhere.
Really? Even in the rural areas, I guess, huh?
Yeah, even in the rural.
That's nice.
Yeah, those areas.
Yeah, that's nice. So you got into trading. Now, why not just trade, let's say, futures markets, or why not just trade the U.S. markets? I mean, why get into what you have been trading, which is, to me, it's not as common, but you're more familiar with it. Maybe you do know that there's more people doing it. I don't know.
I know, but I don't know. I have this fascination with the whole finance industry.
Mm-hmm.
That has been fueled since I was a kid by my uncle and by members in this very chat room. I won't borrow sentiment from Wester and say I won't disclose their names.
Okay. No, that's fine. And you've been a member here at DayTradingRadio for
I think it's 2 years.
2 years
I used
now.
to have another handle.
That's right. I think I remember you telling me that.
Oh yeah. It's,
You
was
don't
a
have
little
to say.
cheap. No.
Okay.
I
So,
probably remember.
so how about you, Dutch Windmill? How did you get into the trading environment?
Well, my family was trading. My uncle was president of a Dutch bank in the US,
Mm-hmm.
and he basically triggered me into. I looked at it. I went with him to the Dutch stock exchange here in Amsterdam to the floor. And when I was in the US as a kid, I also saw his brokerage or the dealing room. And later on, he had his own brokerage. So, then I went to business school. I did an internship with him back in 1996 on Wall Street, where he owned small brokerage back then.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of nepotism, so to say.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Use it if you got
Sorry,
it.
what?
I said nothing wrong with that. You use it if you got it.
No. So that's how I came into the business, and I started in the Netherlands with the largest broker.
Okay.
And I was servicing the US accounts till 2002, 2003, because after 2001, 11th of September was of course a big crack in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started working for a big bank as a trader, and then I got fed up with that because of all the new rules and regulations coming on. And that's when I decided to go for it on my own.
Okay. So let me ask you now, when the markets were obviously on hold during 9/11, things shut down over here. Now, over where you guys are at, you can't trade the U.S. market, but what are you doing day to day? Are you trading other markets, or are you also on hold waiting for things to get settled?
You mean like in a crisis?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dutch.
Well,
I didn't mean
either
to
one of you,
interrupt.
whoever has a comment.
Well, back in 2001, the situation was really confusing, and it was, for me, it was one of the most emotional trading day I would say of my life. Also, the most busy trading day of my life. But we were in contact with one of my client was in one of the towers. So I literally lost a client. It was incredibly confusing because the office of that particular client had another office in London, and they had an open squawk box to each other. So the guys in London could exactly hear what was going on in the tower. So that was pretty horrific. So we said, okay, we got to close the stock exchanges in Europe, and because we were relatively big, we asked the management of the stock exchange to just shut down trading, because it was not fair, because a lot of people couldn't trade, and other people were pretty much taking benefit of the sadness, or how do you say, the fact that other people couldn't trade.
Right.
So the market was not fair and square anymore.
Good point.
But then, back then it was literally instructed, and I think basically that was based on by the US or financial regulators in the US, that all stock exchanges should stay open. Otherwise we would give in to terrorist demands.
Right.
That they wanted to achieve a lockdown of the financial markets. So that's when everything just went on, but with this pretty sour taste in your mouth, so to say. It was really horrific.
Right.
Yeah. So I went there right after 9/11 to pay a visit to the clients, and things had really changed big time. I was there like literally 3 weeks after. And that was horrific.
So now you guys sound like you both, even if there might be an age difference, you both have seen the markets change. And I'm assuming you've also seen the technology for trading those markets change.
Oh yeah.
I'm short your house. What do you use for your trading these days? What kinds of a platform are you using to trade?
I use basically Tradebook. That's the Bloomberg. That's Bloomberg's trading platform, so to speak.
Okay.
Trade through the Bloomberg with a broker code.
Okay. And does that include giving you any kind of charts if you want to be able to look at charts? Or do you even use charts?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm more of a fundamentals guy.
Okay, sure.
But
and how about you, Dutch?
I want this discount. Sorry.
I was lured. I'm using interactive brokers and multi-chart.
Okay.
And I acquired multi-charts because I was on DayTradingRadio. And yeah, it was a good choice.
Okay, so that's working out for you then.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Definitely.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, so I'm short your house. You were going to say something more about the software?
Oh, it's not important, actually.
Everything
you
say
some
is important.
Technical. Okay. About the Bloomberg terminal, it's basically, if you take the best way to describe it is if you took all the services you should subscribe to, like Bensenga, etc.
Right.
And put it into one, and you get all these cool apps that gets data from the algorithm. I can't say
That's
that
it.
word.
You got it. Algorithm. Yep, we got you.
Yeah, I can't say it in Norwegian either. So.
What is it in Norwegian?
You want me to talk Norwegian now?
Yeah, why not? What's the word in Norwegian?
Algorithm.
Algorithm.
That's Western Norwegian.
That's very hard to say for me anyway. I have hard enough time with Spanish. All right.
It's
okay. So let me ask you now. You and I have been looking at some information that you had shared, and you said that you might want to mention some of it on the air, and I know that some of it is on a confidential level, so I don't want to say the wrong thing.
I actually said until further notice.
Yep.
So.
Okay, so I have the report in front of me. Are you saying I can read from the report?
You can put it up on the screen if you want. Right, Dutch?
Well, I don't have my.
I think he better can just read.
Okay, yeah,
okay.
It's not as important, and plus, don't forget too, we have some non-members that are able to watch the show, and I'll just keep it for that for now. But this is a report that came out of one of the brokerage companies. I don't know if brokerage is the right word, but market analysis.
It's just say market makers.
Market makers, okay. And so this is with a grain of salt, because I realize I'm not revealing sources here. So you guys at home, if you have any trust that I'm giving you information that I say I'm giving you, then fine. But I'm not giving you any advice on what to trade. But I found this report to be interesting, and that is that this market maker found large speculators buying S&P 500 and Russell 2000 futures to record long positions. And this is a report that came out at the beginning of this week, right? It's basically last weekend.
It was Sunday before.
Right. So I don't know if this is talking about data from last week or over a period of weeks. But it was as of, I believe, the 19th of March is some of this information. Second point, large speculators sold silver down to levels near the buy zone. However, they bought gold out of a buy zone. And the last point is that large speculators aggressively bought U.S. dollar to a crowded long for the first time since September 2012. So a lot of speculation about the markets taking a rest at these levels, and yet this is saying that large speculators, I don't know if it's one hedge fund in particular or maybe across several hedge funds, but buying up S&P 500s and Russell 2000 futures.
Yep.
Have you guys seen evidence of that as well in your trading?
Yeah. To put it bluntly, yes.
Okay. And so that would really fit into what we've been talking about. I know I had Vester was on one of the shows earlier this week and last week, and when we talked also on DTR2, I believe that was yesterday, and that is the fact that the market's not taking any pause here and is just continuing to run, and that would be happening when you get a large influx of cash into the market like this, just driving everything up.
Yeah, it comes from two sides. It's the cash from the market participants, and of course the thing which is happening with the Fed and the public open market operations. And that's basically still the big support in the market right now. Although I must say the Dijsselbloem thing gave a little hit at the beginning of the week, so I really had to work till yesterday to get that loss out of the way. But it's,
how does that guy still have a job?
Sorry, what?
How does that guy still have a job?
I don't know. It's I mean, it's very.
Completely irresponsible what he did, right?
It's irresponsible in the way if you don't know him. I think if you read his Wikipedia page, you get a better understanding of where he is coming from and what he has done in the past. He's Dutch, so in that respect, I think I know where he's coming from, and I'm not really surprised in what he's saying.
You mean Dijsselbloem, whatever his name.
Yeah. Well, basically, I mean, he's coming from the Socialist Party. He's got a very relatively very socialist background, and what he is saying and stating is basically an exponential exponent of what he has done in the Netherlands. So that's not really that surprising.
Interesting.
But in the end, the net result of what has happened there in Cyprus and what has happened on the market, of the impact on the market, has been relatively mild in the end. Only, we know that in the near future, if any problems occur, it would be coming from Europe. That's.
And some of the other comments in the report here, let's see, regarding metals. Large specs bought gold, sold silver, platinum, and palladium, and added to their shorts in copper. Gold remains within the edge of a buy zone. Palladium stays in a crowded long. Silver is approaching a buy zone. So the charts that came with the report identify some trade ranges, which really anybody, if you want to bring up a chart and just look at where the price volume has been occurring, you could look at volume profiles and get some of that information too, and you'll see that the trading is happening around those edges. It also mentions for Forex, besides the fact that large specs bought US dollar, partially covered yen and added to their shorts in euro. US dollar moved into a crowded long since September 2012. So shorting the euro, I mean, that seems like a no-brainer at this point.
It's extremely volatile.
So, is it too late to be shorting euro?
Well, technically, I would say you would be in for a bounce, but there's some things going on, on the background, especially since, of course, the statements by Mr. Euro, as they call him. So, and you see what it has triggered the market in that respect is the ultimate the decider on what's happening, and you definitely see, I think, already a flow out of the European Union capital into other. Yeah, I think it's very beneficial for the US in that respect.
flows from Europe into emerging markets.
Emerging or the US. So there will be relatively. If you look at some.
Or the US, of course.
I can give you an example, Briguy. If you put on the chart of ASML, which is a Dutch semiconductor stock, listed as an ADR. It's Alpha Sierra.
Okay, I have that here, ASML.
If you look at the daily chart, you can see that the stock saw a high in, I believe it was February, and as of February, it's just going down, like a lot of European stocks. And if you put the S&P next to it, you see the S&P is actually going the other way. So there's a big underperformance of a lot of European stocks at the moment.
Let me see if I change this to a... I'll do this here. That should give them side by side there. So you said the S&P?
Yeah, or the Nasdaq, but yeah, S&P is better. I think it's a tech stock.
Daily. So what is the ASML? I'm sorry.
ASML makes the wafers, which are being used by Samsung and Taiwan, of the wafers which are being made to put processors on.
Okay.
And so basically they make the machines who make those wafers, and their biggest clients are Samsung, Taiwan Semiconductors, Intel, and you see it's one of the leading tech companies in Europe, I would say. But you definitely see what happened to the performance as of the high in February.
Right. Interesting, and I was just hearing a report earlier today about the record number of electronic devices they expect to see sold in 2013, and that's tablets, computers, phones, etc.
Yeah.
But I don't know how many of these they've already built and are just sitting in warehouses waiting to be released.
True. Yeah, I don't know that either, but it's very obvious. I mean, the ASML is just one example, but if you look at financials in Europe today, you see also big underperformance. So what we can see is that really what's happening in Europe right now, I think, is also helping the US markets to go up. Capital is moving.
All right. So you're listening to Briguy here on DayTradingRadio.com. We're having a little interview here with two of our members from across the pond, as it were, in and around Bergen, Norway. And
he's in the Netherlands.
Netherlands.
I'm in Bergen, Norway.
Oh, those are different countries, aren't they?
Yeah, it is.
Where's all right, hang on a second. Let me get my geography straight. So here's Norway, and you're across the water over here then.
Yeah, he is.
Okay.
He's northern.
Slightly more south.
This country.
Now that's Denmark. You should go more south.
Yep.
There it is. Okay.
That's northern
more
Germany.
south.
Lower.
That's like Flensburg or something.
Yeah, there's Flensburg. That's is that across the border?
Yeah, you have to. Okay, southwest.
Left Amsterdam. You see Amsterdam?
Yeah, there it is. See?
Yeah, well, you're on the delay, so you're telling me CC, but I'm trying to find it. All right.
No, you're in Denmark.
Am I not supposed to be in Denmark?
No, that's another flat country.
Oh my goodness! How am I that far off?
Can you name the
Here's
biggest
Netherlands. Oh my goodness.
mountain in Denmark? Okay, seriously, let's ask the chef.
That's the Netherlands.
There's Netherlands. Okay.
What's the biggest mountain in Denmark?
What's the biggest mountain in Denmark?
This chef, give it a shot.
There's Amsterdam. Right along the...
I'm in the wrong chat. Right.
Along the Markermeer. Did I say that right?
No guess.
Yeah.
No guesses.
That's newly made land There was water that they created land.
Well,
It's
that's one thing they're not
actually
making
pretty,
more of. More of. Or at least it used to say it. More of it. Or at least it used to say it. More of it. Oh, okay. To say it. More of it. Oh, might be me
okay.
doing that. To say it. More of it. Oh, might be me doing that. To say it. More of it. Okay, that was me. See how easy it is. What happens is Livestream likes to reset the video from time to time and mess you up like that. So sorry about that, guys.
No problem.
Yes, Carl. I try to be an American, but I also try to see if I can figure out where places are. It does interest me. So, I don't know if there's anything else in this report that you'd like me to draw attention to, except maybe with the energy sector. It says large specs sold crude oil and heating oil, partially covered natural gas and flat gasoline. Crude remains in a crowded long. Now, I was hearing, though, that, and this was in the Futures Mag website, that natural gas seems to be taking over for oil, at least here in the States.
Okay, if you scroll down to the last page, or one of the last pages,
okay,
you can see
in regards to natural gas,
the S&P. That was too far. Wait a minute.
I don't know what you're talking about. Scrolling. I'm not
okay,
scrolling.
there.
Anywhere.
It's page
11.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, there. Yeah.
Okay.
11.
Large speculators partially covered their shorts in natural gas to 4.3 billion from 4.6 billion notional last week. Readings are neutral. Nat gas is testing resistance near $3.90 to $4. There's strong resistance.
It will take some time to go through all this, all of these pages in detail.
Yeah.
But I meant, let's see here. Here, it's on page 7, actually.
Okay.
The chart, the highest chart, the first chart on the page when you scroll down.
Regarding the S&P 500?
That's, large speculator net futures in equities. And you can see like crowded long zone. It just doesn't say that there, but it says crowded short zone.
Right.
That didn't abate before September 2011.
Yes. And it says the S&P 500 continues to test resistance at the longer-term range highs at 1550 to 1576.
Yeah.
Which is where it ends up at the end of the week.
And as you probably know, record highs. That's nice and all. But what happens every time we are at the record high? We don't stay. We don't stay very long at those record highs. Do we?
Well,
I see it, just,
I mean, in the last 2 weeks, we've done some small pullbacks, but then it's pushed through again.
Yeah, and when you basically just listen to the TV, everyone is talking about corrections.
Right.
Everyone is a bear now. I mean, in the media. So,
bear or
when will this start to become
scared to be bulls?
Self-fulfilling prophecy? I don't know. I can make an educated guess, but I do not know.
A break beyond the 1550 to 1576 would target 1600 to 1625. Prior resistance at 1530 to 1525 is now initial support, and additional support is in the 1510 to 1500 area. So you guys can take notes of that. I'm sure your house, we have some folks in the chat room are asking about how you trade. Talk about your trading. Do you feel like getting into that?
Well, I can give the basics, I guess.
Sure.
Well, ask away. Or do you want me to freestyle?
Do I want you to freestyle? Well, you can rap about it. You can, how about your routine? I mean, there's a
Put on a
weekend.
beat.
Besides reading everything that's on the Bloomberg terminal, I mean, what kind of research or reading are you doing?
Research, basically fundamentals. I see in the setups, stops, targets. Well, that's technical analysis stuff, or not stops and targets and all that, scans, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
I think that basically just only relying on technical analysis and ignoring the fundamentals, it's okay, it works, but it can become dangerous, especially in times like these. You did see Monday and the week that was, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole global market.
What'd I tell you about asking me questions?
Okay.
Just teasing. Go ahead. So are you reading U.S. material, or are you only reading what's coming across through Bloomberg? Are you checking out the Wall Street Journal? Are you reading Financial Times? Are you?
Yeah.
Is there some local Norwegian, trade rag that you like to pick up at the local cafe, or?
I read it on the internet.
Okay.
But still, it's the you want the page?
Well, if you want to share it in the room for everyone, you could let them see.
Of course, it's e24.no. You have to run it through Google Translate, or else you won't understand a thing. And maybe I don't remember if I told you last week or the week that was this week. This week, an article was published by Reuters, basically saying all the stuff that I've been saying for some while about Norway. Says that it's a big welfare state. The only thing that's supporting it is basically oil revenues and high oil prices. And Norway, they want to be outwards. This humanitarian country, we give money to everyone, yada yada yada, right? But I can place a link to the Reuters article in chat, so you can read for yourself. It's in English. Stand by.
Stand by.
Yeah. Dutch, you can talk in the meantime.
Okay.
I'm a little bit of both. I'm technical. I start always with my scans, and I scan. Before I went to DayTradingRadio, I was already looking at some kind of similar strategies that the Rockstar is using.
Okay.
Only, it's basically in your journey as a trader. At least for me, you see that the statistics when you buy the dips from oversold situations are much better than the other way around. From the overboughts, they're much less easier to grab, to short, let's say. So yeah, I'm scanning for the basic oversolds in the stochastics, and I do that for Europe and the US. I also scan for the 2-period RSI, which is a very short-term RSI, but very powerful when it's really oversold.
Okay.
And when you got both, like oversold the stochastics, and you got an oversold in the 2-period RSI, you got a very high potential bounce candidate, so to say. So that's what I use. I use the Benzinga Pro feed with Squawk, and I use Twitter. in a special way. I've configured Twitter with allow around 1,100 Twitter feeds from only professionals. So no bullshit links. And that's basically also now acting as a kind of real-time news feed. Because you see that Twitter is, especially for those people who can't afford a real-time Reuters or a real-time news feed, you can if you download TweetDeck from Twitter itself, it's free.
Right.
And you can configure it with even the investor relations of a lot of companies now have their own Twitter accounts. So whenever numbers or news comes out from that company, it used to be going to Bloomberg or to a press agency. Right now, companies are starting to directly put that material on Twitter. So you can have the same real-time information that the professional, so to say, got by using Twitter in an efficient way. And it has already been proven that in time of crisis, let's say an earthquake or some terrorist action, if you know how to use the real-time search, for example, in TweetDeck, you can stay up to date as more efficiently than listening or looking at the mainstream media, as they are also looking at Twitter.
Right.
So
you're finding that with not just European markets, but even the United States companies are posting their info?
Yeah, there are a number of individuals out there which are very well known. Now, even if they're right and not right, people listen to them. Yeah, so you have somebody for example, a Doug Cass. That's somebody everybody knows. Yeah, or let's say Citron Research, for example. It's been with ISRG. They post
again with the ISRG.
They post their research initially on Twitter. So I got an alert whenever they come up with something. I hear ping and I see ISRG. And last time with Kenny I Short Your House joined, we took a short directly in
ISRG. Call me by my name. I really don't care about.
Okay, well, my real name is Dennis for everybody, but so we shorted immediately, and you have a momentum trade, like for just maybe a couple of minutes, but that's a quick scalp, That's the momentum trades, which are not technically, but more momentum driven by news.
Help by stuff.
Right.
But Twitter, in that respect, I can really advise people to, and they can PM or direct message me if they want some good links of people who really have an impact. There are really people who have a good scoop.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I posted a link in the room if anyone out there is a little unfamiliar with using Twitter. I did do a Tools of the Trade show a while back and showed you guys TweetDeck and also
famous designer lost the feed.
Yeah, I see that there, and seems like she's back in.
Okay.
Maybe you guys can confirm that I just reloaded the video myself. It looks like it's still broadcasting, but that doesn't mean it doesn't cut out from time to time with the internet the way it is. But it looks like she's back on, so that's good.
I even got now something linked to Twitter, which creates your own web page or newspaper, so to say, based on your Twitter accounts.
Okay.
I will send the link now in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that'd be great.
One.
Okay.
Yeah,
Brian, you know that one.
Well, I didn't see him post it yet, so.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know if I have seen
got
that.
to post mine as well now.
All right, very cool.
So.
Wait a minute.
It's funny. So this is generated. So everybody can create this, even at DTRS. If you got your favorite links with the Top Step Trader or whoever you're linking up with, you put all the tweet accounts together, and you can create this kind of format, and it will be automatically generated. It doesn't cost a thing, but it gives a very nice view in the morning of what has been said by your by the people. That are tweeting about anything.
Very cool. Very cool. So there's a little added bonus for those of you who stuck around here after hours and listen to the show. You get to find out about this these cool tools that are out there. And of course, I'm sure your house doesn't want to be left out. So there's his page with links to Sports Illustrated, Swimsuit Edition, and Maxim magazine. I'm sure.
No, it's economics, politics, and finance.
Oh, okay.
I'm
still trying to figure you out, Kenny.
And you can see my awesome logo on the screen. Our awesome logo, I guess.
All right. So I think we answered at least a few of the questions that came out here. I know somebody asked about what fundamentals you're looking at. I don't know if that's a specific answer or if you're just reading the news to see what's going on in the world.
No. So. In a normal period, trading news, that's like flipping a coin.
Okay.
So you can't discount technical analysis. Of course you can't. But
right, but is there a specific kind of fundamentals that you're looking for, or are you just reading headlines and gathering the data that way?
Well, you mean equities, or do you mean like derivatives? For example,
okay.
I know that there's a big asset bubble in Norway because of the financial crisis. People put their money in Norwegian government bonds, because those are safe, right? Mm-hmm. Supposedly. And that in turn have created a massive credit bubble. US in miniature of 2006.
Okay.
Only that the housing bubble, if you do it per capita, it makes the US one look cute. Not my words.
Okay. Actually. All right. Is there anything else you guys like to talk about in regards to where things were left here at the end of the week, or do you want to save it for another show, or I don't want to drag you guys out and overstay my welcome.
No, I mean it's basically we got a long weekend right now. I think the market will be hanging in there for maybe a week or so. Based on inflows from the first days of the month. But the thing is that if any problems occur, it will be caused by anything happening in Europe probably. That's the big thing. And that's. I think that the whole Cyprus thing. I mean, the market has gone up, but I would have thought that the market would have gone more up without it. So I'm awaiting the new POMO calendar from the Fed. I always download it and look at it every week to see when the big POMO actions are. Because you can really act on that still. It's always a good leading indicator if you got relative strength or not. I believe back in 2009, I think, when they started QE1. Was that 2008 or 2009?
I want to say 9.
Oh, wait.
9, yeah. I believe that you could have made like QE1. Like 10% only trading the POMOs that particular time, but they had more effect back then. But right now the effect is back on the table again, so it's an influence, a force that cannot be neglected.
Oh, and high frequency trading in conjuncture with this POMO, QE, call it what you want. It's not a good thing. They can't keep doing this into perpetuity.
Well, I don't see very many things going into place to stop them from happening. And
I know.
In fact, you have the bank, the big money. They're building their own systems to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know you know.
You want to know where the flaws are? I don't want to go into that right now.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Or
well,
do you really,
no,
really want to know?
it's up to you, my friend.
I don't want to get you fired and everything.
Oh, me get fired?
No, I'm kidding.
All right.
You know,
So a link for the Pomo. Yes, Kumar. If you I can put it in there. But the Fed always comes up with 1 second. That is Pomo calendar. Maybe they already posted the one for April. So today we got the April page, I guess. Here we go. The new one is already published. Hail to the Fed. Here you go. So you see, it's the first. Yeah, we got a pretty good Pomo on the 1st of April, and I believe they back tested all the Pomos and the effect and they fade like in 2 days or something. So we had a big one today. They will be adding a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. That's a good. It's next week looks good.
Lovely.
And then yeah, you have to keep track of the holes, especially. I mean, the times that they are not doing anything. You know,
Dennis, tell them about the new movie that's coming out, the Ghost Exchange. If they don't already know.
Yeah, they know. I already posted that in the chat some time ago. RPM already had a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think RPM had it, and then I had it on later on.
Yeah.
In the After Hours show.
That's right.
The trailer for the Ghost Exchange. I think it's due out in, was it May? Is it coming
out?
Yeah.
Something like that.
So it has a lot to do with the high frequency trading and
well, the thing is that I think that's also a little bit a temporary thing. You know, high frequency trading is something that will be sticking around. Mm-hmm. But at the moment, the participation of the big guns, so let's say the real buy side firms, pension funds and such, has been a little bit lagging. You know, because due to market circumstances and everything happening. So but as soon as that they get back, and they will get back, then high frequency will be becoming less active. Because the high frequency gets more active as soon as that is less real flow. You know, when there's thin volume markets, the high frequency can play its game. You know, they can do this mathematician trick much better in an empty market than that some kind of big like a big end investor is going to have a buy order or a sell order. You know, they can't cope with that. So that at the moment when the big guns come back, and they will eventually, because right now, I mean the number of participations in the market is relatively low. You know, but they're there to stay. But their game also, I know a lot of people who have been starting in that, and I see already also in the Netherlands, and we have some very big high frequency players, that some of them already have come in a little bit of problem because their arbitrage games are just arbitraged out, if you know what I'm saying, you know. So you see some opportunities, and all of a sudden your neighbor is seeing the same opportunity, and he's got a faster line, and then the other guy is seeing the same opportunity, and then the opportunity is gone. So, and for us, it's not really important, I think, as well. If you're like swing trading, you know, it can only. It can only be of a matter if you're a really short-term trader, but if you're like what the Rockstar is doing, what most of us are doing in the swing trades, you know, it's just a little bit of noise on the shorter time frames, but not on a daily or 5 days, or, you know, it doesn't really have that much of an impact.
Dennis, when you're on this subject, take up co-location.
And what you mean that there are
placing the servers as close to the exchange as possible?
Yeah, but that, as I said, they just play a miniature game, you know, and where the media is full of it. and the exchanges are making good money on it.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
But as I said, it's for us. It's a little bit more noise, Instead of having like a 5-cent swing, especially when you're an active day trader, then it's getting nasty because you're getting into their playground, and they will try to freak you out. But as soon as that you are in a swing trade, you buy and you have a stop of $1 or whatever, that's a different ball game, and that will not immediately be impacted by high frequency. The only thing you have to do is you don't need to have to you don't use really tight stops because they take them out. So your initial stops should be really, really wide. That has been shown in backtest as well right now. That's totally contrary to what you have learned maybe in the past. That right now your stops must be like 3 average through ranges from your entry. If you don't do that, then your performance is going to suffer big time. So that's a handy thing. I like those statistics.
Dennis.
Yeah.
I heard one of our acquaintances. I won't disclose who. He put it in this way: that these high frequency trade, the algorithms, they have yet to trade through a real stock market crash. So his thesis was, when the shit hits the fans, the machines comes off and humans takes over again.
Well,
because we don't want it. Yeah.
I mean, it's not only high frequency trading. It's my uncle. He's like 67. He's an old school guy, and he always says nothing can beat a good broker with an old phone. So it depends in which part of the ball game you basically are. If all the algos in the world, when people are not talking to each other, one of the biggest assets is still information. And that cannot be neglected. And one day, that will, exactly what you say, humans in that respect will get back. And that my guess is that will happen like already relatively soon. We might have some bumps and things going forward into 2013, 2014. But after that, I think especially after 2014, or already 2014, we might see an upturn even bigger than that we are seeing right now.
Yeah, it's the one we're seeing right now.
Yeah, but then a real one. A real one.
Yeah, I know. It's actually in a Norwegian paper, the one I quoted here before, eat24.no.
Right.
They said, put it this way. They said, in 2007, all the traders stood on the floor and cheered when the Dow broke records and when the S&P broke new highs. And this time, it's R2D2. Right.
Good point. Yeah. Very good, R2. Yeah, that's an interesting point. The fact that you don't have the feedback the way you did before. Somebody posted a movie to the forum from YouTube, and I think it was a documentary about the Chicago Exchange.
Oh yeah, that was me.
Oh, that was you. Yeah, I watched that movie. It was very interesting.
It was in the forum. It wasn't me, but I posted it I sent it to you via chat.
Oh,
and
right.
to Dennis as well.
Then I think I might have put it in the forum.
It was two documentaries, basically about the same. One was the old New York, the old NIBOT, and one was the Chicago Mercantile Exchange.
Right, CME.
So it was the old guys that have traded for 30 years, getting into computers, some of them after moving upstairs have big problem adjusting themselves to to computers. As one of them put it, this is supposed to be a money machine, but they take the money.
You know what I'm seeing also, Briguy, that's there's a lot of hype around the algo stuff. You know, especially in Europe when you're trading manually. And I've been able to outsmart computers. You know, I recognize the computers. You know, it was in a very simple way. If I did this, I saw a computer do that, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to do it again." And the computer is doing it again. And then, "Hey, now I'm going to do this." And then, okay. So
But you have to be some kind of machine to do
you
that.
you can outsmart them. There's a lot of sophisticated stuff going on, but there's also a lot of not so sophisticated stuff going on. And
Well, we do have, apps like in the Bloomberg, like Stealth, the one we uses, that takes data from the algos and basically interpret it into a user-friendly interface.
All those algo stuff, I mean, there's a difference in algos. There's algos for traders, and there's algos for people who execute orders for clients. You know, if like a Fidelity gives an order to a broker, he's going to do that order. For example, and I can maybe explain that in the member screen one day.
Okay.
You know, you can identify I've been executing a lot of client orders for many years, for like 15 years or something. So I've seen all the stuff going from paper tickets to algorithms.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and back in the 90s, you needed 20 people to execute orders. Right now, you maybe need 4 people to do the same kind of stuff. Only you feed them to a machine.
Interesting.
You know, and you can see the patterns in the market. You know, I don't know if I can pop up one. Not directly. I saw one earlier, but I can't see one right now, which really shows you that an institutional buy or sell order is going on. You can see it on the pattern. But it's I mean, as I said, back in the 90s, some guy would sell like a big chunk of shares. He would be calling him a cowboy.
Sorry.
And right now, you've got some kind of quantitative guy doing the same kind of order in an algorithm. You know, and one day, the cowboy will be coming back.
Okay, I think Kenny's
Sorry about that.
laptop is making some noise back over there. All right.
It's the radio.
Had a couple of questions.
On.
There were a couple of questions in the room. I don't know if you guys saw them. And
not yet.
Oh, let me get
Kumar
that.
was asking about the POMO days. Or is that a good time to be long bonds?
No, it's the
Unless
the
I read
effect on
that
the
question wrong. But
yeah. No, on POMO days, not every time, you know, it's not a guarantee, but they start at a particular time, and I believe I also posted it today in the chat that the POMO was starting at a particular time.
Uh-huh.
And that's exactly when you saw the market tick up. When was it? That was like the first uptick, I think. So you see directly the equity markets are reacting, but in 2009 they already reacted when POMO was like 1 billion, and right now a POMO of 1 billion is not really enough. And right today we had like 5 billion, and that's when you see the effect in the equities market, and the whole dynamics behind it I don't really understand. You know, like somebody's getting money from the Fed, they're selling treasuries to the Fed gives them new printed money, and then there's some process that money is getting into the equities market, and they start to pump it up, so to say, and maybe sell it later on today, I don't know, but there's a real effect, literally an effect on equity markets, and also on bonds, but they're always the mirror image of the equities market, right? So
all right. And then another question was about the comments you were making regarding the what does he mean by a turn bigger than right now? Trying to figure out what we were talking about back then. Lion Trader asked about that.
Let me.
What was that referring to, Briguy?
Well, he posted, I guess it was a good 5 minutes ago, so I don't exactly know.
Wait.
I think Kenny was making some comments at that point.
Okay. Wait, let's see. Is it far up?
No, it's right there in the main room, 1749. I don't know what time zone yours is printing at.
Oh,
but
that would be 22:49 for me. Let's see. There it is. What does it mean by turn bigger than right now? Bigger than... okay. What is he referring to? Can you write in the chat exactly what you mean?
Okay, so Blind Trader's still around and wants to rephrase that. I don't want to leave anybody out with their
I think
questions.
it means if the upcoming cycle, if that's worse than the one we just witnessed.
That could be.
S&P, I see here.
That might
Can
be.
you form it into a coherent sentence? Unlike me. Yeah, you have to.
All right. Well, listen. While he's hopefully rephrasing, and now he's getting stuck, I want to thank you guys for being on the show. And
sure.
I really appreciate your perspective. You guys have really helping us look at some other aspects of the market than strictly what is in our newspapers all the time, which is exactly what I guess the media wants us to look at. And as traders, at least as Day Trading Radio members, we like to be a little bit more educated than the average bear, as it were. And I mean that as a Yogi reference. I don't know if you guys have a cartoon.
Actually, the whole Day Trading Radio, the whole site is actually pretty good to learn trading, as I see it.
Yeah. So that's a plug for the show then.
Yeah.
Okay. And
still.
And just as a reminder. Yep. Sorry.
No. It's not important actually. But in volatile times that we may or may not have ahead of us, if this correction comes, and how severe it will be, it may not be that smart to only rely on technical analysis. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So maybe educate yourself into the fundamentals too.
Okay.
Get basically see what's going on in the world globally. Look at macroeconomics as well as technical analysis, because as you saw on Monday, for example, just a small thing out of a Dutch finance minister. Well, you saw what happened.
Yeah.
That set me 3 days back.
Right.
So to speak.
Right. It's definitely amazes me, and I have not been trading as long as you guys have, but it amazes me how this concept of expanding the world markets, companies moving overseas, wanting to open up other plants and stores overseas, and the idea behind that was supposed to be positive for their bottom line, and now you get some idiot making a comment like that. It has nothing to do with the price of tires, let's say, being built in Canada, but it'll end up turning everything upside down for a little while, just from something like that, and because everything is so interconnected now.
Everything is interconnected.
Yeah.
It's that's the whole thing as well. Then that's why especially leaders or so-called leaders should be really careful by what they say and know that they're responsible for a lot of movement in the markets if they chose their words wrongly.
Right. Yeah, that reminds me. I was at the trade show in New York City. I went to a presentation for someone that was a forex trader, and he mentioned that whenever these news conferences happen with the international finance minister for this country and the representative from that country, that even a twitch or a shrug or a smirk or an eye glance in the wrong direction, like all of that is enough to make the markets turn in a certain direction.
That reminds me. You remember back in the 90s when we had on CNBC we had this briefcase cam on Alan
Greenspan.
Alan Greenspan, correct? I remember that. If the bag was fake, they had speculations up and down. Oh, he's gonna raise or lower interest rates. Oh, he looks sad today. Oh, today he looks whatever. You get the point.
Yeah. So I guess it really hasn't changed all that much.
No, it hasn't. It only shifted to Europe.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, listen, guys, I really appreciate you coming on, and maybe somewhere down the road we can if there's some other international event that's happening and we can get your perspective on that, we can maybe have you guys on again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Okay.
Great being here.
Yeah.
And happy Easter.
Thank you.
Yeah. And I want to do a shout out to everyone. Hi guys.
Okay. Kenny, what a shout out.
Trading going on today.
Okay.
I swear, paying attention to the chat.
Very good.
For the ones that did disclose the trades.
Yeah, and
I want to say, maybe some of the trades I disclosed early on, they seemed oversized, but that is just because, basically, I have to trade size.
Okay. So size
to
matters.
Make money for the investors. Well, you're gonna put me into that corner again. Right?
No. But you know what? You're making a point that I will share to the members, and that is when we do make comments in the room, sometimes we'll mention a position entry or an exit that we're looking at or coming out of. But you also have to remember everyone has different trade styles. So whereas one person might be looking to get in and, on a 10-cent move, they could be netting thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Versus someone else on a 10-cent move, maybe their commission's going to eat up their profits. So make sure you understand that if you're going to be following someone's trades, because I always say, it's okay if you want to follow someone's trades, but you have to know why they're taking the trade and everything around it. Don't just blindly copy somebody's trade. I mean, we're talking about real money here. It's not a video game.
Yeah, it's important.
That's the difference with size.
You remember what you told me earlier this week about this size and all this?
Yes.
Disclosed trades?
Yes.
You had a rather brilliant anecdote from your earlier days. Do you care to share that with the rest?
Oh, you know what? I've said a couple of anecdotes this week, and I don't remember exactly. Can you start? If you start it for me, I'll remember.
When we were talking about size and disclosing trades.
Yeah.
Along with size.
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Was it in Skype? Maybe I can look it up.
You were following. Okay. What I remember was that you were following this guy. Turned out to be a whale.
This was me?
Yeah, this was you.
I don't remember exactly. But, in general, I've done that myself. I've followed people into trades and then find out that they're scalping something, or I've had guys, earlier in my career that even supposedly a mentor who I thought was a mentor, and would help me with a trade, and then next thing I know, he's out of the trade, but he didn't tell me he was out of the trade. So I'm sitting in the trade, and I'm not even. I don't agree, first of all, to be in the trade in the first place, but I convinced myself that he knows better than I do, because he's my mentor. So I get into the trade with him. Then he gets out of the trade and doesn't tell me. So now I'm stuck in this trade that I didn't want to be in the first place. I find out a day later he's already out of it, and by then it was too late. I already, this is options trading. So
we the chef, J-Dub, brilliant comment. And he sold you his shares, sucker.
Yeah, something like that, right? Exactly.
That's exactly what he did.
So, you know what? Live and learn, and hopefully don't make the same mistakes twice, or at least 3 or 4 times.
The way I see it, when I lose money, that's just paying for my education as a trader. And when I recoup that loss, it's just, the more...
Feels good.
Yeah, it feels good, basically.
Good. Yeah, well, you know what? The more successful traders have paid for Harvard educations 10 times over with the amount of money they've lost.
Yep.
At least from what I've seen. All right, so thanks, guys, so much again for coming on the show. I appreciate it. And
thank you.
Sharing some insight, and hope you guys have a safe weekend with your family and friends, and Kenny,
my whole family have vacated the premises.
Well, with your dog then, Kenny.
Yeah, he's here.
Just
want to hear something funny?
What's that?
My dog was actually raised by Dennis' ancestor. No, not my dog, but his ancestors was raised by his ancestor. It's on the pedigree.
Really? Interesting.
It's pure coincidence. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow. This is on from like Ancestry.com? Did you go trace the dog's roots?
No, we have we get the pedigree. What do you call it?
The papers.
List of all the dog's ancestors.
Yeah.
You buy it from the kennel.
And you recognize some names.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Funny.
All right.
Okay.
Well, again, you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you in the chat room
have a good one.
Maybe Sunday night, if not sometime Monday.
All right.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Thanks, Briguy.
Have a great
You're welcome.
Passover,
Bye-bye.
guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye. All right, so it's 8 minutes after the hour, and you're listening to Briguy's After Hours show here on DayTradingRadio.com. And we want to give thanks to I'm Short Your House and Dutch Windmill for checking in with us this evening, and really just intending to have them come on and share a few things. And we ended up having quite an interesting conversation there about a lot of different aspects of the market. So I hope you enjoyed that. And as I've said in the past, if any members are interested in coming on the show, whether it be the After Hours show or if you want to do something on the Tools of the Trade show and talk a little bit more specifically about your trading methods or styles or charts or software you like to use, whatever it is, we can do that on the Tools of the Trade show. And I'm happy to do that. Just reach out to me ahead of time. You got my contact info scrolling at the bottom of the video, or you can reach out to me here in the chat room, and I'll be sure to get that arranged with you ahead of time so we can put that together. So thanks so much. In honor of the two guys here being on the show, I took the liberty of looking up some top 40 music in Norway and in the Netherlands. So hopefully this is not too far off base, but here's a couple songs that these guys might be listening to on their local radio station. It's 10 minutes after the hour. I'll come back on the other side. We'll see if there's any other news to take a look at before we wrap up the show. And I'm sure your house is, if we get 3 gongs, that's always the rule. If we get 3 gongs from 3 different people, we will skip the song, but I will let this go until I hear otherwise. You're listening to Briguy's After Hours here on DayTradingRadio.com. It's what you turn on when the market turns off.